Hey everybody, we are back with our next installment of our devotional series geared towards teens and young adults. My name is Jennifer Elrod and I'm the youth pastor at Honey of Path Pentecostal Holiness Church, and this is
Marissa, and I'm a current Emmanuel College freshman.
And we have totally gone dark and twisty tonight.
Yes, we have.
Because today we are talking about making good deals with the devil. You know, have you ever made an unhealthy alliance? You know, alliance is supposed to be something that has mutual benefit for both people. But a lot of times we end up in harmful friendships or relationships. And the United States likes to do this a lot. They like to make alliances with at least 1/3 of the country out there. They like to do it for power and for protection. But what if we made a deal or a covenant with our enemies? What if we realized we'd suddenly made a deal with the devil?
Ooh. This happens with Samson in Judges. We've all heard of the story of Samson and Delilah, the Philistine prostitute, mind you. Samson, it says that he fell in love with not only a Philistine who was of another people, but she was a prostitute. As if that's not bad enough.
He should have known better.
In the end, he ends up, because of this deal, he ends up, number one, he lets Delilah cut his hair, which puts him in a very vulnerable situation because now he has no more strength.
Which was from God to begin with.
But, you know, he let a prostitute cut it off. And then he ends up basically killing himself and a bunch of other people, bringing down a house in the country where the Philistines live because of this deal with the devil.
So he has to lose his own life, essentially, in order to try to make things right once he's entered this unhealthy, harmful alliance. You know, apparently the world just thinks that this is some parody or joke because there's all kinds of songs out there in the secular music world about making deals with the devil.
Yeah, Running with the Devil by Van Halen actually is a song about...
And they hit top music charts. It's kind of ridiculous because we don't realize the long and short-term consequences that come when we enter these unhealthy alliances with friendships, business acquaintances, relationships with people that are not mutual benefit for us. In fact, they are harming us. And there's all kind of physical, emotional, and spiritual consequences that'll follow when this happens. And, you know, my prime example for this is when we had this really, really good king in Judah by the name of Jehoshaphat. And he decided it would be a great idea to form an alliance with the most wicked king ever, which was Ahab, the king of Israel. And in order to do this, he ended up marrying his son to Ahab's daughter. Entering this alliance without even asking for the blessing of the Lord, entered this covenant between two people, his son and his daughter. And then what ended up happening, they ended up going into war, but they didn't even ask God's blessing to go into war. So not only did they not ask God's blessing for the alliance, the covenant of marriage between their children, they certainly didn't ask for it to go in war. So he said, I will stand beside you in war, Ahab. And then he asked for the blessing of God. He tried to backtrack and get a blessing, and we all know what happened as an end result because Ahab was killed in the war, even after disguising himself, thinking nobody would see him.
Right.
And then Jehoshaphat had to slink back, totally embarrassed, back to his nation and admit that he'd made this unhealthy alliance. And I bet by the time he got back, he looked a lot like this fella. Yes, totally embarrassed about what he'd done. So there are two kind of reasons.
Well, first, deals with the devil, they don't always look, you know, repulsing or bad. Oftentimes they look appealing.
Even some glamour appeal, maybe?
Oh, it's totally, it glitters. It just looks so perfect.
And all that glitters is not gold.
No. We learned that with temptation. That doorknob, it kept looking better and better. But just like deal with the devil, it looks better and better, but the consequences just keep getting worse. And oftentimes that appeal, that offer, we don't really know what's behind it. There's a lot of deception that goes on because Satan doesn't always reveal himself. Well, really, he never reveals himself when he's offering what looks glittering and glamorous to you. And for those two reasons, you really need to be careful with who you surround yourself with because you never know if you're making a deal with the devil or not.
You know, perhaps the best word for these type of unhealthy alliances is toxin. They are absolutely poison to us. These people may look good to us on the outside, and until we know the true intentions, not only of their heart or where their heart stands with God, are we really able to figure out, are these people going to be healthy for us? Are they going to bring us closer to God instead of farther away? So the Bible actually says that these are the things you look for in healthy alliances. Proverbs 17:7 says, a friend loves at all times. They are not a fair weather fan, deciding that they love you one day and they don't the next. Proverbs 18:29 says they are supposed to stick by like family. Proverbs 29:9, a friend like this is going to refresh the soul, not consistently pull you down. And then Proverbs 27:17 says the healthy alliances are the relationships in your life are supposed to help you sharpen one another. So I want you to think about the alliances that you have made in your life. Are they healthy for you? People that are going to help you, or are people going to harm you? And if you've got some harmful alliances, what do you think they need to do at this point?
Out the door.
Out the door. Definitely pray, discern.
Yes. But don't try to backtrack and get a blessing after you've already made the covenant.
Especially if you know that it's an unhealthy alliance to begin with. Don't go back and ask God's favor. But to learn that spirit of discernment, you have to be able to perceive or recognize people for who they are and the intent of their heart. And then what you said, you disassociate if needed. Go ahead and cut that off. Proverbs 12:26 says, the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the ways of the wicked lead them astray. And we know that narrow is the path for those that follow the Lord, not all these different avenues and ways that people try to lead us. So essentially, when we enter these unhealthy alliances, it's just like we are never knowing when we are making a deal with the devil. We're going to close in a word of prayer, and then we will see you guys next week for our next video. You want to close this?
Dear Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the opportunity to share this word with these people. We ask, Lord, that you give them a spirit of discernment with the relationships that they enter in, whether it be boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, spouses even. We pray for a spirit of discernment and just the want to have relationships that point them towards you. In Jesus' name, amen.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.